Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second episode of WinSider Podcast. I'm Anmol and I'm here joined by Ayush. And today we're going to talk about Microsoft's interest in Android and what they plan to do in the future with Android as their preferred platform for mobile devices. So, Ayush, yesterday Microsoft released a new build for Windows Insider which comes with your phone support, and they have added calling as well to your phone. So, what do you think it means for the future of Microsoft going forward with mobile and as well as their laptops or Windows 10 with per se?
Hi everyone. Uh, I think that's a nice question because I've been seeing Microsoft making their operating system and the products work very well with Android devices as well as iOS devices. But being a more open nature of Android in all the ecosystems that have right now, I think Android is the best bet. And yeah, they are working on making their products compatible with these devices uh, a lot, like a lot. Their tagline is to empower every person, an organization on the planet to achieve more, right? And they don't want to force anyone to switch to their ecosystem. They want their services to work with their ecosystem. They are adjusting to the needs of the users, which is a critical thing that a company needs to fulfill their users' requirements. So I think they are making huge investments in uh, Android and iOS ecosystems, especially in Android because of the open nature, as I already said. And with the latest build and the update released for the Your Phone app today morning for me, I think they just don't want you to leave your laptop and switch to your phone. Like they have the photo syncing, they have the text syncing, they have the contacts are already available on Outlook, they have the People's app on your computer, and now you can even call people using your Surface device or your Windows devices. So I think that's a pretty good move. Like this will enhance my productivity because sometimes when I'm working on my Surface and I switch to my mobile phone for making a call to someone or something like that, every every particular time I'm distracted by one notification that pops up
Yep.
as soon as I disconnect the call. And
Yeah.
after that, I'm someone who gets distracted very easily, so this is not very good for me, and this just disrupts my productivity. So I think this feature is gonna help me stay on one single screen and do everything that I want.
Yep. That sounds about right. I think Microsoft first announced the feature at Samsung's Unpacked event in August with Samsung Note devices. But I am glad to see that Microsoft is working towards bringing the feature to all the other devices as well. Unfortunately, I think the feature currently works with those laptops that have Bluetooth radio and not with all kinds of laptop. So that might be an issue. I don't know, but these days all the laptops comes with Bluetooth radio, so it's not like a big issue, but it might still be good for Microsoft if they could incorporate their cloud services to make sure that even though you have no Bluetooth connection or you're not paired via same Wi-Fi network or whatnot, to be able to sync all the notification at least notifications, if not calls, to your Windows 10 PC. But I think that overall, Microsoft adding the feature is really good from their standpoint.
Well, what I think is the notification syncing already works with the cloud, right? But I think the implementation of Bluetooth radio right now is just because they wanted to decrease the latency of these calls, right?
Yep.
And I really hope that this feature comes with, the both the devices should be on the same network and stuff. Right, that should be the next thing that should be coming. I'll just believe that, and I just hope that, and I I want to see this feature in a very recent build now. But uh, yeah, the compatibility of just phones running Android 7.0 and higher is gonna cause some issues. I would recommend getting it to Android 6.0 at least, just because many devices didn't get the Nougat update as it was causing issues, and the update life cycle for those phones was ended. So
Yeah.
I think it would support even a larger audience, a larger user base when the requirement is decreased to Android 6.0. But I believe that this step might have been taken by the team just because of lack of various APIs or something like that. I'm not an expert on this, but if you're someone who has control over this, please consider adding support for phones that are running Android 6.0.
Yeah, I would agree that because Android is such saturated market, phones not usually have like a specific version, and not everyone gets to update to the latest Android version as soon as they're out. So I would say that yeah, going forwards and making the app backwards compatible with older version of Android might be a good way for Microsoft to capture more audience. But at the same time, I think going forward and making apps backwards compatible, more so apps like your phone that has access to sensitive information like your notification and contacts, I would say that opens up doors for plenty of like vulnerabilities and security breaches as well, because the older versions are not as secure as Android say 9 or 8 or even Android 10, which is coming right now.
Hmm. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. So, have you gotten a chance to play with this build yet? Yes.
Unfortunately not. It was released last night, like in middle of night here in Australia, so I haven't gotten a chance to play it. But I have a laptop that's updating to the build right now, so I hope to try it out later today.
Nice, nice, nice. So, did you hear the news about the Microsoft developer account tweeting that uh, the Microsoft Duo is gonna support UWP apps while it's running Android or something? Did you
Yeah,
read about that?
yeah, I did, and that's a pretty good news, I would say. If Microsoft plans to support UWP apps for Android, because on one hand there are Android developers who might not consider UWP as their platform, but if the platform supported on both Windows 10 and Android, they might consider going for the platform and developing one app that can run on both the devices. But I think the developer account just tweeted Microsoft hasn't officially discussed how it will support and what are the APIs and other issues involved, because I'm pretty sure there are issues involved moving a desktop level platform to a mobile device, and that's so developed by Google and not Microsoft themselves. So that will be interesting development to look into in the say in 1 year or so when the devices come out finally in 2020. So yeah.
But I think what they meant was that the account meant was, and it linked it to it as well, that the device is going to support UWP apps that were created in Xamarin, so it would be deployed for an Android device as an APK or something like that, and then it can be used as a cross-platform app. I think that's what they meant, because I don't think adding support for UWPs on Android devices is anywhere near too beneficial for Microsoft unless they're building their own store or something like that.
True, but I would say that the pace Microsoft is going, they might as well build their own mini store on Android that has all the Microsoft apps, because I think most of the microservices apps, everything currently is available on Android, be it Office apps, your phone, Microsoft Launcher, SMS app. Of course, they're not available worldwide, but I think they're available in plenty of countries, and Microsoft can move forward with the implementation worldwide of their Android apps. So they might as well go ahead and build a mini store once they start launching phones that are powered by Android.
That sounds a bit ambitious right now because we don't know what people, the management at Microsoft is thinking about right now. But I believe that if they do this, this is gonna be a long shot, and if this is actually happening, it's gonna be like it's still 2, 3, 4, 5 years away. What do you think?
Of course, I'm not saying that they're just gonna release it right now. It's just taking small steps and making sure that they have a viable platform for their mobile devices. Because clearly Microsoft still thinks about my mobile strategy, even though they no longer support Windows Phone. But if they're going with Android, they have to bring something of a Microsoft element to it. It's not just a Google's Android, it's something that Microsoft built themselves. And even though the Surface Duo looks beautiful from the outside, I hope they make Android in such a way that it feels that you're using a premium luxury smartphone. The feeling that you get when you're using Surface devices when compared to other Windows 10 devices, that feeling is something that has to come with Surface Duo. And I think Microsoft still has more than a year to go, and they might work on it, and we might be able to see more developments as we go on. But I do hope that Microsoft improves upon it, and both in hardware and software. I mean, the hardware pretty much looks perfect in terms of the design they have deployed. It looks like a Surface device, which perfect design, minimal design. There's no fancy colors or no fancy elements going all around. It's just Microsoft logo on a white background.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, I believe so too. The main thing is they can change the UI in some ways by adding the launcher, by adding the icons and stuff, but there should be a core feeling of that device that I'm using a phone that is, or a communication device, as Mano said at the event,
Mhm.
which is made by Microsoft and stuff,
Interesting
right?
enough,
There should be,
Microsoft is not using the word phone in their
but whatever.
presentation.
That's why I said a communications device, right? So
Exactly.
if whatever device that is, right, it's running Android, right, and it should have the Microsoft element somewhere inside it. I'm not.
Th-
It's not about the appearance. It's about the core functionality that makes it a perfect device from a particular brand. That's what I'm looking for. Just adding Microsoft Launcher, I have an Android phone in my hand right now, and I can't just put Microsoft Launcher and say, okay, this device is like the Microsoft device, or add all the apps or something like that, right? There is some particular level of value in that device that brings in the element of that company. That's what I believe in.
yeah, I certainly agree with that. The thing is, I think Microsoft right now, they probably have a strategy for it already, and they haven't disclosed it because it's in really early stages. But as far as I can say from the launch event and the post launch videos we got to see from various reviewers and tech websites, I would say that I really like the Surface Duo, but I do hope that Microsoft customized the software in such a way that gives that Microsoft feeling, rather than just being another Android powered smartphone that we have like hundreds of them in the market right now. So maybe just putting a launcher or maybe just installing Microsoft Edge won't help it, but I hope that Microsoft works on it, and they have a strategy in place for future. Maybe in fall when they finally announce, as in they start releasing the smartphones that are powered by this version of Android that they are developing.
Nice, nice, nice. So another thing that was announced software-wise at the Surface event in the New York City was the Windows 10 X,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, So it's mainly the software experience, the operating system, the Windows 10 experience designed for devices with dual displays, right?
Yep.
It can be two separate displays attached by a hinge, or it can be foldable displays. It can be anything, right? It's for dual displays. I think
Yes.
that's the correct term we that is for these devices, because we haven't seen a foldable display device running this operating system or this experience right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Like, why Windows 10 X?
I think the main reason why Microsoft went with Windows 10 X is uh, they don't have to redesign an operating system from scratch, and they can take whatever functionality they have in Windows 10, the operating system as a whole, and transfer it on the dual screen devices, and use that screen to develop an operating system that supports that. Because I don't think Windows 10 right now supports dual screen as such, because I've seen those laptops made by Asus and other brands that have like one and a half kind of a screen, just above the keyboard they have a big screen, but that screen doesn't really help a lot. So these devices which are coming out next year, and Microsoft said they're working with their OEM partners to make more devices that are powered by Microsoft Windows X. So I think for those devices they do really need another OS that can work with touchscreen, that can work with dual displays, that can use pen and Microsoft small keyboard. I don't know what they're calling it right now, but the small keyboard they had over Surface Neo. Uh, and on top of that, they're using the touchscreen as a mouse pad when they're using keyboard. So these are some things that they have to incorporate in Windows 10, because they won't be there otherwise, since Windows 10 was optimized for both keyboard, mouse, and
Mhm.
apart from that, touch. So making a OS just for touchscreen is something that Microsoft had to do with these devices. Apart from that, they do really need an OS that can support all this. And Microsoft said that they will be supporting Win32 apps in a container, which is like a virtual machine. So that is a good thing, because Windows 10s, which Microsoft launched a couple of years back, didn't work out so well for the company because it didn't support Windows Win32 apps basically, and Microsoft Store doesn't have all the apps right now.
Mhm, mhm. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Um, yeah, so I think we are done with all the topics for the day, for the episode.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we covered
I, I,
plenty enough today.
yeah, I, I, I hope we are not missing on anything that was majorly to be discussed.
I think we missed something with Windows 10 X, which is like the omission of live tiles. I don't know what you think about that, but I kind of use them, not like on every day, but they're good thing to have.
Well, I'm gonna worry about that once I get a foldable device. So, I'm sorry.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I think we should wrap up, right?
Yeah. So I think we're done for the day, and I don't think we have missed anything as such. We have covered most of the news that happened this week, and we hope to cover more soon. So subscribe, like, share, comment. Maybe send us some ideas if you want something to be covered specifically, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Take care.